Hi and welcome to the fourth module on GST. In the first three modules, we've seen why the GST is such a big deal, how it's going to mitigate the cascading effect and simplify the overly complicated indirect tax structure. In the second module, we checked out the composition scheme, and in the third, we checked out the provisions of input tax credit under GST. The fourth module is going to be all about registration of taxpayers under GST. As always, we'll be dividing this module into sections, 5 sections. We'll be dealing with who should register under GST, the timelines involved for registration, where should you register when you have multiple business locations, what is the application process, and what are the situations that can cancel your registration and those which can revoke such cancellation. So basically, to make it simple, we are going to deal with who, when, where, how, and then what of registration. Let's begin with the first section where we'll check out who is supposed to be registered and who is not. There are certain parties who are exempt from registration. There are certain which fall under the category of automatic registration, conditional registration, mandatory registration, and those who do not fall under any of these can take voluntary registration. We'll check out each of these. So, broadly, there are two subdivisions under registration: exempt from registration and liable to register. Let's start with who is exempt from registration. There are 5 parties who are exempt from registration. The first one is very, very logical. Those who are exclusively involved in exempt supplies. Now, because they do not have to pay any tax, they do not have to collect any tax, they are exempt from registration itself. Exempt supplies, exempt from registration. Very logical. The second one is again logical: agriculturists. Basically, agriculture is exempt from any taxation in India, whether it's direct or indirect, and therefore it only makes sense for GST to exempt agriculturists from registration. It is only for the purpose of agriculture. If the person is involved in multiple businesses, then he'll have to take registration. Only for agriculture, he's exempt. The third category, UNO. Any specialized agency of UNO like the UNICEF, UNESCO, or any multilateral financial institutions and organizations which are notified under the United Nations Act of 1947. This part is also pretty logical. Every nation has a liability, has a duty to simplify all the tasks that the United Nations undertake. That's the support we offer to the UNO, and therefore they are exempt from registration. The fourth person exempt from registration is the consulate or embassy of foreign countries. The embassies of US, UK, all of the foreign countries in India are exempt from registration. Now, there's an important point to remember here. The UNO agencies and the embassy, the third and the fourth persons who are exempt, would be granted a unique identity number instead of the GST identity number. So they will also have a number in order to identify them, the UIN number. The fifth and the last person who's exempt, well, this is a broad category. Any person or class of persons as may be notified by either the board, the commissioner, state or central government. So this is a to be formed list. Whenever a notification comes, such person would be exempt. Now, for this purpose of exemption, you need to know the definition of agriculture. It includes a lot of things other than just normal farming like floriculture, horticulture, sericulture, and a lot of other things. So keep that in mind as well when you check for exemption. So those were all the people exempt from registration. In the next video, we'll check out the people who are liable to register, which is a bigger list.